All right. So we're live. Yeah, we're live. Okay. Hello and hi and welcome to our monthly transmission for patrons. Yes. So that we are. August already. So I was supposed to do this yesterday, but yesterday we recorded our next episode of the Madden God podcast. So I didn't want to charge. So I thought I will wait until today, a little bit longer before getting into this, right? So there we are. And what am I going to talk about? So, yes. Very interesting things, as always. So, I wanted to talk about something that happened quite well today, actually, and that is interesting because, well, we'll see, because what I'm just going to start from the beginning, not from the ending. As otherwise it doesn't mean, why will I tell the story if I'm already giving away the ending? No, well, here's the thing, right? I had a meeting this morning and yeah, it was interesting, but it was not some. I mean, it was the last meeting, so that was good. With a that was, well, it doesn't matter what that was. Anyway, I was into this meeting, and this guy was talking with me and telling me how to do things, how to this and that, and I was just listening to him, but watching him, and I was feeling, wow, it's interesting. No, it's not interesting. Stop saying it's interesting. For God's sake, stop it. Sorry. Not sorry. So, I was with this guy and he was talking, and I felt that it was just like telling me to be careful, to do this, to do that, right? All that kind of stuff, fear-based. Be careful because they may find out, or be careful. Oh, you should say this because, and I'm there listening and intently watching him. And as I'm watching him, I see like for I'd say 1 second, I see like another face, something else coming out of it. And so I thought, let me pay more attention. So then after this was just an introduction, because actually to get in the meeting, who cares, it's more this 1 second that is interesting, because then when I left and I was going home, I thought, oh, that's interesting. But moreover, what interested me, and I said it again, but it's all right. What interested me was to understand the vibrations, to understand the meaning behind what was said, which again, it's not important in itself, but what was clear is that this guy was giving me say, whatever it was giving me, it was giving me the human luck, right? What he was saying was completely luckful. All the crap of fear and what if, all stuff that is not happening in the now, but keeping telling me what could happen, what may happen, the dangers and this and that. So then, as I'm going through that, I realize, I said, oh, wait a second. I understood that if I take what he said as in the way that he said it, that's the human. So as a human, this guy can only tell me human stuff, right? Fractal stuff, in the way a human will tell you. Then I said, but if I take that and I translate it vibrationally into not what the human said, but what the vibration underneath the human vibration, right? He was transmitting clearly a vibration of lack and of fear at that first level, at that first right way of communicating. But as I was seeing that being behind the being, right, that appeared for 1 second, I realized there's something else to understand. So watch to the vibration behind the vibration. So the creator, the God. And so I took that and applied that to the situation, and then the message changed completely. The content of the message changed completely. And I know that that is my interpretation of it, but hey, that's my reality. I got to interpret it whatsoever. So watch me. And so then I realized, yes, so this situation has to be analyzed in a different way, and that is that he was offering me at the first level was the externalization of reality. Now, if I let go of the external and bring that back into the internal, reminding it's me, right? It's my interpretation, so it's me, all of this has to be taken that way, then I'm changing completely the interpretation or the meaning of that is happening. And at that moment I realized that what he was transmitting to me was a message of changing the way I relate to the situation, right? The way I vibrated. In this kind of thing, and this meeting was some kind of meeting that is related to institutions and to that kind of relationship, right? Where they ought to have, in the idea of human, a position of power, a position of superiority. That's what we tend to do with those people. So I took that and I then realized that depending on the way I relate to that vibrationally, then everything changes. Meaning that the message was, look at your vibration right now. Look at the vibration you have around this institution, around this. And know yourself, understand the self that you are projecting, that you are vibrating. Because it is, right, always the same thing. It's that we do create our reality, but the interpretation of it and all of that. But the main thing that is filtering all of that are our belief systems. So in our belief systems give us a vibration. That's how we handle our vibration. So if I put myself in a position of fear, of antagonism, or of expecting certain things out of those institutions, then I'm putting myself in a vibration of lack, of what you put out is what you get. So I'm putting myself in that, and so I'm reducing what is possible for me from that situation. I'm exposing myself to whatever that lack is meaning, whatever can come from that, right? And the lack, the human is so lackful that when the human creates social security, the human has to restrict social security, to put rules, to put ways where you pay fully, but when you use it, you don't get the full of it. You scale down, because, well, for instance, in Switzerland, we have the pension. So when you go, when you reach 65, 64 for women, 65 for men, you got your pension. However, if you're married and the two of you get to the pension, the second one receive only half of it, not full. Why is that? Because they say, well, you're married, and well, together you can get along with that less, because if we don't do that, then the pension costs more to us, and we may not be able to sustain it longer, blah blah blah, all of that crap. The fact is that the second one that gets into the pension, they have fully paid the pension, 100%. All their lives. However, when it comes the moment, the time to get the pension, they're married, they are only half. But the institution got paid full. So, and we pay our pensions mainly with a retainer on our salaries. Every month, gets into that, you pay, and then it's something like 40 years. You have to have 40 years of payment in order to have a full pension. So you see, great institution, really great. It helps a lot. It really gives that, think of at a certain age, you can just stop working. However, there is the limitation. If you're married, you get half of it. That's the lack. You see the lack? Because you said that it's necessary to reduce that in order to pay for that. That's not necessary. But the lackful reality created by human fractals, there you go. Too scared to give it fully. So it's absolutely a institution that creates wealth. Yeah, it's wealth, it's abundance, but it cannot go to the bottom line of it, to the end of it, because it will be full abundance, full worth, and they cannot give that. And you see, they in other words, they're telling to people, you count just for a half. Like if that was right, but that's what to do, and it's all the time like that with governments and laws and practices that are telling people you do not count, you only have to pay, but you don't get the full scale of it. You don't get back what you are owed because, well, we put so arbitrary stuff in there, even though constitutions and all of that says everyone is equal, everyone, right? Blah, 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 blah. In the end, you see that they are discriminating against their citizens because, well, citizens are lackful. And citizens do accept that lack because they do. I see here in Switzerland when there is any referendum or any stuff like that that is presented to the vote, and there is extensions of the pension of the pension and all that that are in the balance, people always vote against them, and it's always just because of what? Because of the fear that if we charge too much, the pension will disintegrate. And it works. People are afraid that that happens because people do want to go and to stop to work at 64, 65. So they say, oh gosh, it's dangerous to have more. We have to reduce. We have to, right? We have to do this. Because we're scared. We're scared. And they say that if we don't do that, if we do not check it and keep it limited, oh, it may collapse. May collapse, right? It's not happening. It's always things that are not happening, but people are afraid. So that's the same thing with not just in Switzerland. That's what happens all around Europe, and well, let's not go even further. There are countries that even don't have any social security, anything at all to take care of people that are in the need, just because, well, they're not worth it, right? Because this is what worth is, and I've given here the example of Switzerland. It remains privileged in comparison with other countries, especially countries that have the means and ways to have more, but they are not giving that. They are absolutely not wanting to give that because it will be too much, right? So that is the institution, and that institution is full of lack. So when interacting with this official stuff, governmental and etc., there is that thing where you do feel the weight of this idea that the government is superior. The government has to be looked up to, right? So the vibration is that, and so then is that what I'm accepting, or is that what I'm going to do? And there's the empowerment of the self is that, and the discovery and the evolution of the light bearer and the light worker and all of that is that at some point you realize that self that is believing that crap, and then you work in empowering the self, meaning into realizing what is that. Is any government, any country deserving of that treatment of superiority? And the answer is no. They are not real. They are constructs that we use. It's something that, right, countries, we use that idea in this reality but that's what they are, an illusion. Or it's not an illusion, it's it's real, right? It's real in our perception. But what I'm saying is that they are just that, a creation that we use. We are creating them. So why will they be superior to us? Why will we submit to them? They exist because of us. They do not exist by themselves. You see, that's the point. So this is what lack is. This is what our playing with inferiority, right? Feeling inferior, feeling that we owe, that we need to pay for everything, is looking like, right? The relationship with governments, with administrations, and all of that gives us that idea, right? That projection and that thing. We are, and especially because in that construction, we create them. We create the countries, we create the governments, and we create, and so then the question is, why will I be inferior to what I'm creating, and why will that I'm creating crush me? Which is what often happens to humans when they are confronted to anything, any institution that are related to government, to countries, and etc. The justice system, for instance, is that such construct. And when you look at that, it doesn't work for any citizen really, unless you have money. If you have money, you get it, right? This is really, I'm talking really human here, human perspective of how this reality works in regards of institutions. An example this year of that is when tennis star Djokovic was trying to get to the Australian Open in January. And as the country was allowing only people vaccinated in, he was not vaccinated. And so he got into a fight with the government and the institution and all of that. And he has money. So what happened with the justice system is that he went into the justice system to require some extra urgent stuff to be allowed to enter because, well, he's Djokovic, how can you dare to stop him, blah, 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 right? He was having a tantrum. And so as he has money, he was able to obtain judges treating his case, deliberating his case, where normally he ought to have waiting months, probably even years to have that. Because normal people, when they need that kind of thing, they cannot have it. They have to wait months, years to access those institutions, those judges. But as he had money, he got there quickly, faster, and took away, certainly, to more urgent and more life-threatening cases. I'm speaking human here, right? In the story, in the idea, just because of the money. So that is the example of how these institutions are not working for the people, but they're working for the money. Justice works for you if you have money. If you don't have money, good luck. You see, good luck. The lack, it's lackful, right? These institutions are lackful, but they are built on lack, and people that are in need of them are lackful, because they are expressing it and they are living. And then when you have to go into the justice system, the question is, are you worth Are you worth it? And as many people will respond, no, I'm not worth it. Well, there you go. You understand what happens during that thing. There is no miracle here. If you are vibrating vibrating unworthiness, then these situations cannot work in your favor. It's not about being guilty or being whatsoever, or because in duality, if there is the potential of some guiltiness, there is also the potential of not guiltiness. So both are true. So which version is there? Which one is that? Is the one that committed the crime, or is it the one that didn't commit the crime? It's the same being, it's the same person, but with a different story, a different memory. And both are real, both are true. Both are experimental, experiencing reality, and they are the same. So we don't know. Things do happen, and they don't. But that is the way this reality works. And so when you try to understand the things you want to understand the things, now you have to admit that you do not know, and you have to admit, as a liber, you have to understand that you cannot judge it, not because you can't judge, and judge is not because judge is bad. There is nothing bad in judging, but now you have to understand that you are judging a situation that can be seen potentially completely different. So you are in duality. And if you judge in duality, you try to just judge one way, you have to be aware that the opposite is true as well. If you see someone, a version that is guilty, you know that the version is not guilty. You know it. You cannot avoid that knowledge. It's there. You are a light bearer. You are working on this, on vibration, on reality. I create my reality, and I have so many versions of me, which is not versions, different versions. It's still me. It's always me with different memory. Right now, I'm here with this memory, but right there is still me with a different memory. Which one is real? There is no which one is real. It's still me. It's always real. But we have a different memory. So that is going on. That is happening, right? It's me, different memory. What is that different memory? Wow. It's different moments, which is what we all have. I remember only certain moments that I've been experiencing. Those that are calling memory. Over there, I'm remembering still memory, different moments, so that the construct of that moment has a different relationship with moments. But it's still me. So if you have someone that has committed a crime, there is the same that hasn't. If you judge the one, how can you not judge the other one? If you judge the one that is guilty, you're also judging the one that is not guilty. Except that, how can you make the difference within those? You can't, because you're not that being, you are you. And as you are aware of this duality, of these potentials, then that's where judging become difficult, becomes something that is not bearable or understandable, because you have that knowledge. You know that there is the potential, or that the potential is realized always. Because if there is in duality, if there is guilty, there is no guilty. Both are true. This is duality. This is how duality works. This is how it is in everything. When there is a potential of something being realized, you have the potential of the opposite being realized, and both are always true. Right? You have the potential of obtaining a job. That's a potential. Do you obtain the job? Yes, of course, it's a potential. You do obtain the job, and not. Both are true. You have to see that now. You cannot ignore that. Both are true. Because you relate to a certain memory, which is the memory that got you the job. It doesn't mean that there isn't the memory that didn't got you the job. It's choices, and it's vibration, it's relationship. What did you choose? You choose the way to the job, but you also choose the way to not the job. So we are back to what vibration? How do you relate to the situation? How do you relate to it? How do you vibrate? That's how then you are already now preparing what you say it's the future. It's not right. It's that relationship, because the way I vibrate right now is deciding. Let's say deciding. It's giving me a way of then attracting the future. Why am I attracting a future where I get to travel, or I get to a job, or I get to whatever? Well, because right now the way I'm vibrating is allowing that attraction. So I'm already preparing or accessing to the future, which is not the future, is simply right. It's now, and I'm deciding, I'm choosing which now I'm relating to as a potential. And when I'm there, well, it's no longer a potential, it's the now. But that's right. This is how now we have to become aware of ourselves. Hi, James. To our relationship with the now, which is a relationship of vibration. The way I vibrate right now, then, well, gives me a attraction of what is possible. So it's attracting what? Choices. And those choices are accessible when I'm vibrating in a certain way. Is if I'm vibrating in a different way, well, those choices become not accessible anymore. I will have access just to a limited number of those, because it's like calculating probabilities, right? As soon as I vibrate luck, then I'm shutting down a lot of what is available to me, and I'm reducing it. If I'm not vibrating that, I'm vibrating abundance, I'm vibrating right, that worth and all of that. What that makes is that it's enlarging my choices. So I'm attracting much more available choices that then allow me to have a wider way of going around and going to that potential of better choices. They're not better, right? Every choice is, but better in the feeling, better in the in the way, right? If I, it's a thing where you say, oh, if I had to choose between this and this is the way, the one that makes me feel better, that makes me feel great, right? Not feel emotion, feel creator. That's the one that I prefer. Good. But that you prefer is available under certain vibration. If you don't vibrate that and you vibrate something else, then, well, you have other choices. It's the way it is, right? So with that experience with that guy in that moment, when I saw that, I saw the being, right, the creator, let's say, that was that, just that second. I remember Jane and her husband, and I think it was one of the guests, they had a experience. They experienced something like that. It was with a, I think it was with a painting of Jane's husband, where I don't remember which one, if it was the husband of Jane. They saw the painting and it was like something in the painting for just 1 second, and then Seth said, I think it was in that occasion, right, said, well, it was just to give you a hint to prepare for this session, right? So you see, these things do happen. Most of the time we miss them because people are not worth it, or not relating to these things, or just, oh, it's like a shadow, or human beings always find excuses to refuse what is happening. Like, well, like when they talk about certain things that shouldn't be there because they are contradicting humanity in the way they see history and how human came to be, because they are saying a story that it's different, because we have supposed to have invented certain things that have given us that way of having housing and agriculture, and that's what. And you have monuments and you have discoveries that are contradicting that, and then people are just many people are just running over it, saying, "Oh, well, we don't know." Well, you know, when they talk about certain events of seeing, I just saw a video where they were talking about I don't remember the name of the place, but that they can see that people can see that the Buddha has expressions in the face, and then people say, oh no, it's just, right, the weather, or some kind of stuff like that. Everything to deny, because they're not worth it, because they are lackful, because that's the way they perceive it. It's too big, it's too huge. It's just that it's not confirming the way they see reality, so they have to refuse it. They have to diminish it at their level, because they cannot see anything that uplift them. They are down to the ground of nothingness, and that's where everything has to stay. It's their choice. We're making different choices. We are choosing to evolve. That's why I was saying, you cannot ignore that your vibration is having an impact on what you attract. You cannot deny that you can perceive things differently, and that different things that shouldn't be happening because that's not what we have been told, but they are happening to you. They are going on with you. Now you see that you are choosing different, and therefore your reality is different. And so from there, then, well, when things happen, you can wonder, spend your lifetime in being amazed with that, or you can just choose your vibration, and that is the vibration of liber and light work and whatever, and just do your work. Just do you. Just open that space, right? Keep that space open. It requires a lot of work because obviously we are here for that, and it requires awareness and being able to get into that. So your vibration is therefore something that you cannot manage. Don't try to manage it. Never manage anything, because then, right, expectations and control and all of that. It's not that you have to manage it, but when you become a vibration technician, when you are able to be, when you are aware of yourself and that you are vibrating, and that vibration has a impact on what you are choosing, then you know what you can understand what you are doing, what you are vibrating, and then you can choose differently. Doesn't mean that you will essentially have necessarily a different reality, but probably you will. But is essential. Remember, you do not do it on purpose. You cannot do it on purpose. If you do it on purpose, then you are still playing in the unworth and lackful playground, and you will not enlarge what is available to you. Don't be purpose. It doesn't work. You have to allow, because if you are purposeful, you are, well, controlling. Control doesn't work. Because if you try to control, it means that you are not trusting yourself. It means that you are not trusting the creator. You're not trusting creation. Creation happens no matter what. So the flow of creation has to be allowed to flow. It's an energy. And the more you release control, the more you let go, the more you are aware of the inside, the more that energy flows freely, and then you have a different reality. Different doesn't mean that you will be on Mars, or you will be, I don't know, in another planet, or you will be suddenly in the whatever. No, that is not what that is. Different means that you are vibrating in a different way, so your reality becomes different. In the way you relate to it, in the way things happen, you will have, for instance, an easier way in navigating it, in having things happening, appearing, right? Conclusions, whatsoever. But right, it's because you are in that free movement of creation of energy, so that things can come to you in a much free way, without lack. You're creating a reality of abundance, not because you wanted it, not because that was your outcome, but simply because you are not opposing it. Because control is opposition. You're opposing reality. You're opposing creation. Purpose same. All the things, same. Its opposition is limitation. Because again, and that, again, you can go back to Seth, you can go back to everyone. They all have said that when you are using purpose, so when you are trying to reach a goal, but you don't know what is best for you, you don't know if that is the right thing. The ego may say to you, oh yeah, that's great, becoming rich is a great thing, let's put everything into becoming rich. Famous, oh, I want to be a famous actress, oh great. Is that really the thing to you? Do you know that? No, you don't. You think that that may be like that, but actually, maybe not. There's something, there are so many things. But the ego, as there is this fame and this being known by so many, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's great. Let's be that. That's why there is no destiny. I'd stop talking, having that thing, oh, this is my destiny. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to become this, to become that. No, you're not here for that. You are here because you exist. That's why you're here. You're not here because you have to accomplish anything, because everything is a potential. And again, potential means that you realize it and you do not realize it, which is true always. So which one is real for you? Which one is true for you? Which one you are choosing? And if you're choosing the one where it's not realized, are you a failure? Because when you set yourself up to have a destiny, you have to realize, because now, right, with what you know, you have to understand that the reality where you fail, human fail, is real too. There is not just, if you have a success, you know that there is the version of you that doesn't have the success. So which one are you? Which one are you choosing? And if you're choosing the failure, are you failed? Obviously no, because you know that there is the success one. But when you are failing, you are just feeling crap. You don't care if there is the version of you that is successful. That is the thing, right? It's always the moment. This is the version that I am, and this is the thing that I am experiencing. So if there is a version of me that is experiencing whatever, why do I care? It's not important. What is important is the now. Nevertheless, always. Whatsoever, that's what I am experiencing, that's what I am right now. But then again, the question is, if you put yourself into a destiny and then you do not achieve that destiny, are you a failure? Are you going to accept your reality where you fail? Obviously no. No one is happy. No one wants to be there and saying, oh, I'm going to become the greatest actor or the greatest sportwoman ever, right? And then you do not do that because that's my destiny, and destiny doesn't come, then why? If that is my destiny, then it ought to happen. But now we know better, which is there is no destiny, because that's not what we are here for. We exist because we exist, and that is all that there is to be known about that. That is the truth. Everything else is experience. That's what it is, an experience, human experience, not destiny. So, vibration, you see, all of this is going around that relationship with vibration, the way I vibrate, then that is giving me access to those choices. So when I am interacting with the authority, or what we perceive as being, or what should be the authority, if I do that with an idea of inferiority, or that authority is superior to me, when there's my lack, there's my human identity of less than that is expressed, and it's in full capacity there. So what do I do? Well, I have to accept that. That is my relationship with the authority. I feel inferior. Good, great. But now I know that I feel inferior. So now that I know, I can accept it because I'm in the knowing. And when I know that and I accept that, then I can choose differently because I open up to that to be available to me. Because once I know, I'm able not to repeat it. I'm able to get into that path of changing my relationship with the authority and put myself in a position where I vibrate something different. And so I can empower myself in those situations, not again as in intention. I cannot do it intentionally, and I'm not going to get into those meetings or in those experiences with the authorities with intention of empowering myself, because then I will fail. I'm antagonizing the moment. I'm antagonizing myself. I'm antagonizing reality because I have an intention, which also means that the way things are is not sweeting. It's not, I'm not accepting it. I'm not allowing it. I want it to be different. So I am vibrating something that is going to put me on that lackful reality, where obviously then what is going to happen? Well, probably not my favorite outcome, just because I'm vibrating intention, putting myself out of what is that is there as a potential. My favorite, my best, what I prefer outcome will not be available to me. So choose differently. Choose a different vibration. See your vibration. See yourself. Understand it. Choose differently. Choosing differently, right? Meaning then you work on yourself so that you realize yourself, you understand yourself, you see your belief systems that are behind your feeling in a certain way around anything, right? Authorities or whatever. So that then when you are fully able to work with that, then you are going to choose differently. And the choosing differently will even not be necessary consciously to choose differently, because you will be different in the moment, in the situation, in the experience. You will be different. And as right, this experience of having that, that God, that creator, for 1 second, giving me a glance at it, giving me that thing, right? Like a reminder, like, oh, yeah, I'm here. Then that gives me an avenue for discovering, for understanding, for seeing myself, to work with that. Not remaining, like in this case, as I was saying, not remaining to the first level of communication, which is a level of human lack, full, saying selling me the lack of reality, right? The fear. Be fearful of this reality. Be fearful of what happens in this reality, because you know that's what we get. Yeah, that's what we get when we are lackful. Absolutely. Am I lackful? Well, it's up to me to choose what I am vibrating. Again, not in with the intention, but I am in control of how I work with myself. That's what I can control, right? It's the thing that I work on myself, not as controlling in the sense I'm managing it, I'm planning it. No, the control there is me going inside, me having that relationship with myself that I can control, because that is me. That is what I'm choosing for me. And then I allow energy to flow freely. That's when that happens. And again, it's not a control of managing it. I can manage nothing. It's a control of being myself, of getting to I am, getting to the creator, allowing that. And you know, the creator is really fully and completely there, but not in the sense of emotion. The creator doesn't care means the creator knows that when there is a potential for one thing, there is a potential for the opposite. So that the creator doesn't care in the sense both are real. So for the creator, both are happening. So for the creator, there is no danger, there is no loss, there is no whatsoever, ever. Because the creator has that perspective, and the creator doesn't need to manage it, because it's happening, it's there. The flow of creation flows. So that's why, well, I think it was this way. I had my, I never know how to express this, because it's the thing that comes out often is the higher self. It's not higher. The thing that we have to work into, let go of that expression higher, because it keeps us in that hierarchical idea of we are beneath, we are less than. So let's call it, well, the creator, me, the creator. And that's what he was telling me. Hi, it's me. You, me, I, we. Here I am. There's no need to refer to me as a third person, because I'm not a third person. I'm you, and you're me. We are one in that sense, even though the human fractal is separating, is perceiving it as separated, meaning the human fractal doesn't have the access directly to the knowledge of we're one. Nevertheless, that's what we are. So it's very, very, very clever, very loving, and the unconditional. And the relationship that I had in that exchange is that unconditional. The creator was not giving any fuck about this or that direction. The creator was just relating to what? Related to the vibrational potential, saying you took this decision then enabled this. So I'm taking that perspective of now. In this now, your vibration gives me this potential. So I'm talking of this as a potential, very likely to be. And so I'm able to talk about that as a potential, very likely to be, as of this now, because this is the choices you made. That's unconditional. Why? That's unconditional because there was no relationship to the outcome. It was not there to say, oh, that I'm here because I want you to get that outcome. Absolutely not. Didn't give a fuck about that. That's why there is that ability to talk about that, not as an outcome, as a potential. We have to make the difference now. We have to understand the difference. When we are talking about potential, we are still keeping open the fact that we can choose differently. And that if we choose differently, that is correct. It's never wrong. It's a choice. We choose, and with whichever thing we choose, that's correct. We're not doing it from a point of view of right or wrong. It's a point of view of choosing what you choose. My last video, I was talking about, and I'm talking about that also in the next podcast. Remind me, well, these people had a potential, and so that potential is to choose their passion as a, let's say, work, which then doesn't become a work, it's just passion, but passion that gives them a living. They choose differently. But when there is the potential, then that potential is that you choose the passion or you choose something else. Both are real, both are true, both are correct. And again, if you choose differently, if you choose to go into another direction, that is your choice, and that choice is correct. It's not wrong. You do not have to choose the passion, the thing that you don't have to. You can as a potential, again, not as a destiny, not as a obligation, potential. So when you get that, when you understand that, and you take away the weight of I'm choosing wrong, I'm doing wrong, I'm fucking up, in the sense I'm doing wrong, when you let go of that, then you will be also able to have much more fun in your experiences, because you are not judging them as right or wrong. So as duality, as if that were really wrong, do you think that that will be available to you? Do you really think that that is what we do in creation? That's not what we do in creation. In creation, we don't give a fuck, again, because all potentials are realized. All of them. There is no potential that is not realized. That's why it's a potential, because it's realized. But again, as for everything, if you want to relate to anything as wrong, you can. It's your choice. As a personal choice, that's your choice. Again, it's not wrong, nor it is right. It's a choice. You choose it, and that's all there is about it. But then, now, we are able to talk about the things because we are talking them from a point of view of creation, vibration. How do I relate to that? How do I do these things with what I know? Well, first of all, you do nothing with it. you allow creation, you allow the flow of creation to happen so that you have a free way of expressing your choices, of having access to your choices. Because if you go into wanting to manage it, then what are you doing? You are opposing, you are creating a opposition to creation. So you are reducing your choices to what is available to you. So you do absolutely nothing. When you are required to act, you will know it. You always know when it is the moment to act, and you will act accordingly. You don't need to know how that comes or how that you know or whatever. Stop asking questions that are not necessary, because you are just vibrating, right? You are just putting out a vibration that is a vibration of anxiety. Don't be anxious of that. You don't need to. Just trust you. Can you? You certainly can if you choose it, if you vibrate it. And again, when you choose the things, then you are doing what? You are allowing the flow of the energy of creation to freely flow, and then you are accessing to more choices. That's how you get what you prefer. Not through intention, through vibration. Through vibration, meaning by allowing the energy of creation to flow the most freely possible. Always knowing that as a human being, as being part of this realm, human being, 100% free flow of creation, what you would say, 100%, right? A full, it will be difficult to reach for now. Remember, we're not giving this as always like that. It's just for now. For now, it's difficult to get a full free flow of energy of creation, because you still hold the fractal, the human within you separated. And until you are separated, then the ego human fractal is in action, is enacting, is giving you exactly what that is designed for. So it's up to you to know it and to choose differently, and to allow the flow of creation as freely as possible as you can, so that then again you enlarge what is possible. What choices you have are going to be multiplied and available to you. Again, is a potential. So that is why the creator is not coming in with intentions or with anxiety as of, or with the idea of, oh, I'm here to help you to reach whatever goal you may have. That's not what the creator came in for. Creator comes in with no reason except the unconditional, except that expression of unconditional. You cannot condition it, because that is what the human does, not the creator. So choose wisely, allow yourself to choose yourself, and to have your experiences from that point of view. It's available, it's possible, you can do it. And you have now the knowledge, you have now the opportunity to choose differently through what you are expressing, through your ascension, through your whatever. You have that. So you can work on that, choose it. It's available to you. As a potential, again, you do not have to. You can. If you choose differently, you choose differently. And that is your choice. And as a choice, it is available for you because it's available. So there you go. We're done for today. Go and experience a reality, vibrate it, and now be a vibrational tactician. Do pay attention to your vibration, which means that you will not be able to control it again, but you will be able to perceive why you made some choices, why your reality was attracted in a certain way. Go back inside and check your motivations, your vibration. How did you relate to the situation? That's what will give you a key to understand yourself. All right. Here we are leaving you, and thank you for joining in and connecting and spending this time with us. We will be seeing you in the next moment.